Artemis Accords, hidden lunar goals, present day. In 2020, the world watched as NASA announced the Artemis Accords, a set of international agreements designed to establish principles for peaceful cooperation in the exploration of the moon and beyond. The public was told that the Artemis Accords would pave the way for a new era of space exploration, with the United States and its partners leading the charge to establish a sustainable human presence on the moon. But beneath the veneer of diplomacy and scientific progress lies a darker agenda, one that suggests the real goals of the Artemis Accords may be far more sinister and strategically motivated than the public has been led to believe. The official narrative, a return to the moon for science and unity. The Artemis program, named after the twin sister of Apollo, is NASA's ambitious plan to return humans to the moon for the first time since 1972. The program aims to establish a permanent lunar base by the end of the decade, with the ultimate goal of using the moon as a stepping stone for future missions to Mars and beyond. The Artemis Accords, signed by over 20 nations, were presented as a legal framework to ensure that lunar exploration remains peaceful, cooperative, and beneficial to all of humanity. The core principles of the Artemis Accords emphasize transparency, interoperability, peaceful exploration, and the sharing of scientific data. But as with many diplomatic agreements, what is stated publicly often masks what is happening behind closed doors. And, for those who have studied the Artemis Accords closely, it has become increasingly clear that the true objectives of the program go far beyond peaceful exploration. Hidden Agenda 1. Securing control over lunar resources. One of the most alarming aspects of the Artemis Accords is the emphasis on resource utilization. While framed as a way to ensure that lunar resources benefit humanity, the language in the Accords opens the door to commercial exploitation of the moon's natural resources, a move that could allow private corporations and nation-states to claim sovereignty over valuable lunar assets. The moon is rich in helium-3, a rare isotope that could revolutionize nuclear fusion and provide an almost limitless source of clean energy. Estimates suggest that a single ton of helium-3 could generate as much energy as 50 million barrels of oil. Control over this resource would give any nation or corporation an unprecedented geopolitical and economic advantage, potentially shifting the balance of power on Earth. But helium-3 is not the only prize. The moon's south pole is believed to contain vast reserves of water ice, which can be converted into hydrogen and oxygen, the essential components for rocket fuel. Establishing control over these resources would give the United States and its allies the ability to dominate space travel and exploration, turning the moon into a refueling station for future missions to Mars and beyond. Hidden Agenda 2. Militarizing the moon under the guise of exploration. Another unsettling aspect of the Artemis Accords is the potential for militarization of the moon. While the Accords emphasize peaceful exploration, the language includes provisions that allow for safety zones, designated areas where participating nations can operate without interference. These safety zones, ostensibly created to prevent conflicts over resource extraction, could easily be repurposed as military installations under the guise of protecting national interests. With China and Russia advancing their own lunar ambitions, the United States is keenly aware that control over the moon could determine who dominates the future of space. The moon's position offers strategic advantages for surveillance, communication, and missile defense systems. Placing military assets on the moon would give the United States the ability to monitor and potentially neutralize adversary activities in space, effectively establishing space superiority and securing dominance over Earth's orbit. Hidden Agenda 3. Discovering and controlling alien artifacts. Perhaps the most chilling theory about the Artemis Accords is that the United States and its allies are not just returning to the moon for resources and strategic dominance. They are returning to investigate and control ancient alien artifacts. For decades, there have been whispers that the Apollo missions encountered anomalous structures and technology on the moon that were quietly classified and hidden from the public. Insiders and whistleblowers have suggested that artificial structures, strange energy signatures, and remnants of advanced civilizations were discovered during the Apollo missions, but were deemed too destabilizing for public knowledge. The Artemis program may be an effort to reclaim and study these ancient technologies, which could give the United States a decisive technological advantage in space and beyond. If true, this would mean that the race to the moon is not about exploration. It is about securing control over extraterrestrial technology that could alter the course of human history. Hidden Agenda 4, establishing a gateway to Mars and beyond publicly. The Artemis program is described as a stepping stone to human missions to Mars. But what if Mars is just the beginning? According to some insiders, the real goal of Artemis may be to establish a permanent presence on the moon as a launch point for deep space missions to other star systems. With the moon's low gravity and abundant resources, it serves as the perfect staging ground for interstellar missions that would otherwise be impossible to launch from Earth. By building a lunar gateway and a network of refueling stations, the United States and its allies could position themselves to become the first interstellar civilization, exploring not just Mars, but potentially reaching other habitable planets. The cover-up. Why the truth about the Artemis Accords remains hidden. If the true objectives of the Artemis Accords were revealed to the public, the consequences would be profound. Nations that are not part of the Accords would demand equal access to lunar resources, triggering a geopolitical crisis that could escalate into an all-out space race. The disclosure of alien artifacts or ancient technologies would destabilize religious and societal structures, causing mass unrest and challenging the foundations of human belief systems. To maintain control over the narrative, NASA and its partners have carefully curated the information shared with the public, ensuring that the Artemis Accords are seen as a symbol of unity and progress rather than a blueprint for global dominance and control over the moon. The future of lunar exploration. What awaits humanity? As humanity prepares to return to the moon under the Artemis program, the world is standing at the precipice of a new space age, one that could either unite us in exploration or divide us through the pursuit of power and control. The hidden agendas behind the Artemis Accords may hold the key to unlocking untold secrets of the universe, but they may also usher in a new era of militarization, exploitation, and geopolitical conflict that could shape the fate of humanity for generations to come. The moon, once a symbol of wonder and exploration, is now poised to become the next battleground for control of space. And as the Artemis Accords move forward, the question remains, are we truly going to the moon for peace and discovery, or are we preparing to stake a claim on the future of humanity itself? The truth may lie in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered by those bold enough to look beyond the official narrative.